What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Walking Podcast. It's me, Chaz. It's Charlie. So today I want to discuss with you guys how I quit, why I quit smoking weed. I'm going to try to make this brief and not ramble. But I started smoking when I was about 16 years old. Actually, the day I turned 16. My best friend, he was like, we were going to a football game, and he was like, I'd have a blunt. Do you smoke? And I was trying to act cooler than what I really was, and I was like, yeah, I do. So he brought the blunt, we smoked, and from that point, I would smoke every other weekend or every weekend. And it went from every other weekend to every weekend to maybe, once during the school week, maybe twice during the school week, to by the time I'm at the age of 21, I'm smoking every day. So from the age of 21, I would say to the age of 33, 32, I smoked every day. And again, this ranged from me smoking 2 to 3 blunts a day. In my height, I would say I smoked about 5 to 7 blunts a day. Which, like I said, when I continue to repeat it to myself, it sounds insane. So, flash forward to the journey of me quitting weed. Around the age of 33, actually before then, I'm going to say at the age of 30, I'm actually really 28, 29. I discovered biblical concepts that shaped my life. And dogs coming. Ugh. So I reshaped my life to form kind of around the Bible. I'm kind of sidetracked with these dogs coming up here. Just give me 1 second. Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right. I'm back, guys. All right, so I've been in church my whole life, went to church my whole life, but finally started to read the Bible around my late 20s. So I pretty much reshaped a lot of areas in my life, but I was still smoking. Although it became more and more of an issue within myself that I was smoking. I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like, have I really changed? I got all this biblical knowledge, but I'm still doing the same things that I was doing in my 20s. But I made a decision one day that I'm gonna attempt to stop weed, because in the thumbnail I'm not a fan of the cold turkey, going cold turkey. And if you can do that, I recommend that. I commend you. But me, myself and I, what worked better for me is to slowly wean myself off. Because, for instance, if somebody just die abruptly in your life, it's going to be much harder than per se, they get sick and you get accustomed to them to actually not being in your life when they finally die. It's more of a relief versus this abrupt feeling. So I slowly made weed a less part of my life, but I was still smoking like on a weekly basis. I'd try myself where I could go, a week or two and not smoke, but I was still pretty much counting down to the time that, I was going to smoke again. And smoking really became, at that point, it became a burden on my life. I began, versus it was started, it was this, thing that my friends did, and then basically everybody close in my life partake with me until it became pretty much this secret thing. So it wasn't this. I'm so sick of this dog doing this. Like, excuse me, guys.
Do you think it's time for you to quit cannabis? Well, I encourage you to make that transition to a new life, free from the chains of weed addiction. It's up to you to make that change, but sometimes we may need a little guided help. So I created a 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. This journal helps you go through a 30-day process to create a new life. I am a strong believer of people helping themselves, but without being told what to do like a child. But we do need to be steered in the right direction sometimes. Each day focuses on a thought or idea for that day and prompts you to write down your own thoughts and your own reasons. This will help you understand yourself and your addiction. By the end of the 30 days, you will see a clear path on how to create a new life of marijuana sobriety. If you need the motivation to take control like I did, please visit Amazon to purchase the 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. Your future self will thank you.
We are back again, guys. All right, so yeah, it became this burden instead of this, thing that relaxed my mind. It was taking far more stress to actually smoke. Also, I began to hide it from my wife, and if you get to a point where you have to hide things from your spouse, you probably should stop doing it. So it became where, I was trying to hide things from her. I'm sneaking outside. I'm smoking. I'm back in trying to hide my high. And that became more stressful than actual fun. And although I would go through these constant mental battles of, I've came so far, I smoke, one blunt per week. But at the same time, it still was consistent in my life. And while I do recommend the idea of winging yourself off, you really can't stay in the same, you can't continue to do the same thing for a long period of time, because you will continue to go back. If you take a month or two and get used to smoking one blunt, eventually you will stop. You will say, okay, well, I'm stressed today, so, let me smoke. I can smoke today. I'm going to smoke in a couple of days anyway, so let me just, smoke now. And before you know what, you're back smoking 1, 2, 3 blunts per week. So I do not recommend you actually staying in one transition for a long period of time, constantly working towards taking it out of your life more and more until it is no more. Also, I was a firm believer that, I could smoke weed, and I wasn't like a couch potato. I can smoke and go to work and do the things and take care of the children and work and do all these things, and people don't know I'm high. And it really didn't take me to actually quit altogether to realize that, although I wasn't a couch potato, weed did allow me to stagnate in life. A lot of times smoking cures your anxiety. And I will say, the closer you get, the older you get, the anxiety only increases. And we're living in a day and time to where people kind of, make anxiety a bad thing or like this crippling thing. But anxiety is normal. Anxiety is great. We don't change unless we feel anxiety about a certain situation. If you do have anxiety, it's your body telling you, there's something I need to change. And when we smoke, we kind of mask that anxiety. And, we say, oh, life is okay. It's not that bad. And we tend to stay in the same position. And it didn't take me until I actually quit to realize, although like I said, I wasn't glued to the couch, I was stagnant in a lot of areas in my life. I learned to handle my emotions much better, handle my stress much better. because ultimately things that stress us out, the older we get, we should be able to handle those things without outside sources. So it came a point where my wife, and on top of me hiding it from my wife, I wasn't successful half the time. I would get caught a lot, and it would become this big issue, in my household. And I got tired of living that life to where I'm hiding something from her, and it's becoming this barrier between me and her. And one day she called me and she said, have you really asked God to take it away from you? And that was interesting because, as I've said, I began to read the Bible more, consider myself a very spiritual person, but I'm like, I never actually asked God to take it away from me. So that very weekend I said, no more. I'm going to quit. I made a pact with her and said, the next time I do smoke, it'll be with you. We have not smoked since then. But me adding her into it and me making a pact with her being my witness, it has helped me stay on a clear path. It has helped me be accountable for myself. And I encourage you, if you're going through the same position, if you're going through the same issue of, trying to quit and it being hard and you constantly going back into this cycle, I want you to truly ask for help in your issue. We tend to, especially as men, we tend to be a little pig-headed and feel like we can do things on our own. And it took me to realize, we do need help with these things. And not help like she has to coach me every day. I feel like I want to smoke. But just being straight up and being accountable and making somebody be a witness allows you to have something to live up to live for. I encourage you guys, if you are on your sobriety journey from weed, keep hope, keep strength, continue to strive to take it more out of your life. Wing yourself off. If you smoke 3 blunts a day, try to smoke 1. Eventually, once you smoke 1, try to smoke 1 a week until you get to a point where once you realize that you can go a day or 2 without smoking, you can go your whole life without smoking, point blank. So I'll be back next time. Like I said, I can go on and on and on about my inner thoughts and about what I went through, which I will. But remember, guys, we are all in this together. Please like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, comment below. Let me know how you feel, how your journey has been different, or how's it going. And I look forward to discussing with you guys. All right.